The topic of lost media is all the rage these days. But while everyone and their brother searches for well-known pieces like Saki Sanabashi, Slamfest 99, and old episodes of Doctor Who, there are hundreds, if not thousands of pieces that no one is looking for. These are those pieces. This is lesser-known lost media. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. It is I, your host, Mr. Sean, here with volume 28 of Lesser Known Lost Media. In this series, we take a look at the pieces of lost media that you just don't hear people talk about too much on YouTube. If you're a fan of lost media, you've probably realized that most content creators talk about the same, 10 to 20 pieces of lost media, and they come up time and time again. These are pieces like Hitogata, A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants, The Evil Farming Game. But the thing is, there is so much lost media out there, and you just don't hear about it. So I decided, why not cover that? And this is my series. If you happen to be joining us for the first time, that's totally cool. What I do is I take 4 different pieces of safe for work, family-friendly, more or less lost media. We then do a brief ad break, and then I finish with a 5th and final piece of not safe for work lost media. Pretty straightforward. We've been doing this for quite a while, and this is we've got the rhythm down. So without further ado, actually one more further ado, again, still looking for people to submit questions for the upcoming Q&A video. Now you no longer, I'm not going to do the link in the comments anymore. That's just a little annoying. But what I will do is I have put it at the very top of my all my links page. That link is in the description, so you click on that, and top of my profile is going to be the link to the Q&A video, to the Q&A post for the upcoming video. All right, and with that out of the way, let's get started. Alright guys, at number 1 we have the Antigravity Room, which is a partially found American-Canadian TV series that was on the air from 1995 to 1997. So, the Antigravity Room was a weekly show that focused on comics, video games, movies, music, and pop culture. It featured interviews and reviews, and it was a Canadian-American joint production between YTV and the Sci-Fi Channel. The 2 main hosts were Nick Sklar in New York and Phil Guerrero in Toronto. Other hosts over the years included Sashi Bhatti, Jamie Malin, Eugene Vincent, Ashna Patel, and Patricia Ribeiro. Ribeiro? I don't know. Special hosts have included Kevin Smith, Janine Garofalo, Lori Pike, Jeff Smith, Heidi MacDonald, and Ben Stiller. Also, prior to being picked up by YTV, the show existed as a call-in show on a public access television, and none of these early episodes are publicly available. It looks like all in all of the known episodes, there were about 65 altogether. And if you scroll down the Lost Media Wiki, you'll see a large mix of lost, found, partially found, until you get all the way down to episode 53. And episodes 53 through 65 are completely lost. In fact, we don't even necessarily know the names of a lot of those episodes. Now, I've never seen this show, but I do find it very interesting because we take for granted in this day and age where, here on YouTube, you can type in any video game and the word review, any music, any movie, and you're going to find a million channels that do movie reviews, book reviews, music reviews of everything. But it was very rare to have a show in the 90s in general that focused on these topics: comics, video games, movies, music, and pop culture. Like, people on like MTV or whatever would review the popular bands, but it's nice to see that at some point, in the late 90s, there was moves towards this kind of content. And I would be very interested to see a 90s take on the type of content that we take for granted in this day and age. And even not so long, I remember in the early 2000s getting most of my video game, any video game reviews that I didn't read on the internet or just see a friend playing, I got my information from G4 TV. So yeah, this one's cool. I'm going to look up some of the episodes that are found, and hopefully we find the rest at some point. At number 2, we have TV Teddy, partially found animatronic voiceovers for VHS content circa 1993. So yeah, around 1993, the company Yes Entertainment, in conjunction with Shoot the Moon Productions, produced TV Teddy. Now this teddy bear was inspired by the Teddy Ruxpin toy from the 1980s. There were various VHS tapes that had special hidden data on them to allow the toy to appear to interact with the on-screen content. According to the manual, the toy worked by connecting a wireless transmitter to the composite video line between the VCR and the television. The transmitter would then interpret a barcode along the left side of the video frame and send instructions to the TV Teddy animatronic. This would tell the toy to animate the eyes and mouth, as well as provide a voiceover. The English language voice of TV Teddy was performed by Kath Soucie, though it is unknown who performed the alternate language versions of the voice. So the basic structure of the VHS content consisted of 3 parts. The main portion in the middle consisted of the main attraction. This was some pre-existing content, such as Thomas the Tank Engine and Friends, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or the Berenstain Bears. Because this content was pre-existing, the characters could not interact with TV Teddy. However, TV Teddy would often comment on what was happening on screen, sometimes to explain something and other times to crack a joke. The beginning section and end section of the tape were live-action segments known as Anthony's Attic. This section featured the character of Anthony, played by Douglas Maines, who performed various silly skits in his attic. These sections were made especially for TV Teddy, so Anthony and TV Teddy could have a pre-recorded conversation and appear to interact with one another. Most of the known VHS tapes were released in the US in a collaboration between Yes Entertainment and Family Home Entertainment. However, some tapes were released in the UK by the toy company Tomy. These tapes used properties that were more familiar over there, such as Super Ted, Postman Pat, and Mr. Men. One VHS is known to have released in Italy by the company Giozzi Prezzioni that was La Bella e la Bestia, which is a retelling of The Beauty and the Beast. A Spanish language commercial has also surfaced, which suggests that there was a release either in Spain or Mexico. However, no Spanish language tapes titles are known. Setting aside the VHS tapes, the manual for TV Teddy claims that there were plans for broadcast television programs to use the special TV Teddy barcode to enable the toy to interact with them. However, it is unclear if any additional programs were made for broadcast outside of the VHS tapes, and it is unclear whether any TV Teddy compatible programs were ever broadcast on live television. As to what we currently have available from these broadcasts, some VHS tapes have been uploaded to YouTube. These uploads do not contain the TV Teddy voiceover audio. However, they usually contain the scrolling barcode on the left side of the video frame. It is possible that playing the digital file, converting the digital video into an analog composite signal, and running the video through an actual TV Teddy could allow the toy to reproduce the audio that was hidden in the barcode. So basically, there are efforts to try and recover this audio, but so far, out of all of the known tapes, only the Berenstain Bears in Giant Bat Cave has been successfully recovered, which means there are 20 known tapes for which the TV Teddy reactions are completely lost. This one's really interesting to me. I mean, definitely the 80s and the 90s were all about selling toys, especially in children's programming, and this one tried to link programming with toys. So it's like, you gotta buy this toy so you can watch that, you can have him interact with the special videotapes that you're going to buy, or even there were plans, it's like, hey, if you want to get the most out of the content that we're eventually going to broadcast on TV, you got to have the TV Teddy. You know, making these LinkedIn proprietary technologies that you need, you need one to use the other, that was a big thing in the 90s. I mean, it's still technically a big thing now. And I think this one's especially interesting because technically we have all the tools to recover it. It's just, we're limited by what recordings we can salvage and how we can transfer, and unfortunately VHS not the highest quality when transferring it over to digital, but who knows, maybe someday someone will finish putting the time and effort in and we'll know every last thing TV Teddy could say. At number 3, we have the Philadelphia Toboggan Company partially found audio of automatons 1920s to the 1950s. So yeah, automatons, more often known as like animatronics, love them or hate them, they are a part of American history and pop culture. Whether you are upset to hear that most Chuck E. Cheese's are doing away with their robot band or are happy to see them go, you can't help but admit that America and the world at large seems to have a fascination with these robotic minstrels. Now, the Philadelphia Toboggan Company was a company that specialized in the production of amusement park structures such as roller coasters, carousels, skee-ball machines, and more. Among the list of attractions the company produced was a line of automatons, mechanized contraptions that were made to replicate the movements and actions of human beings. Little is known about these automatons, and what is known of them is met with many complications through many varying recollections as well as a vast rarity of existing models. Well, that sounds like the perfect intro for a creepypasta, doesn't it? After the production of their first and most popular model, Laughing Sal, this line of automatons became well-renowned attractions in the world of amusement and theme parks. A few of the models were made by Old King Cole Paper Mache Company after being subcontracted by the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. However, with the exception of Laughing Sal, all of these models have since disappeared widely from the public eye, losing both their former fame as well as the audio tracks held within them. Now, we mentioned Laughing Sal. Laughing Sal was the first and most popular model of the series of automatons produced by Old King Cole and the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. Originally intended to be a Laughing Santa automaton, she was first produced in the early 1930s to attract and entertain crowds at fun houses. Her production was subcontracted to Old King Cole Paper Mache Company in Canton, Ohio, where she was then distributed to theme parks such as Playland at the Beach, Crystal Beach, and the Pike Amusement Park, where she resided with Blackie the Barker and Laughing Sam at the entrance of their Laugh in the Dark ride. There are two stories circulating about her audio track. In a 1994 interview with Dennis Atkinson, the former Old King Cole general manager, John Jackson stated that Sal's audio was sourced from a male radio talk show host who began to laugh while intoxicated after consuming Jack Daniel's whiskey. Now that's a plug. However, a legal case was brought upon the Philadelphia Toboggan Company by a woman who claimed to have voiced Sal. However, due to her inability to prove evidence, her case was dismissed. Laughing Sal's audio can be easily found through YouTube videos, her most popular locations being at the Beach Boardwalk in Santa Cruz, as well as the Musée Mécanique in San Francisco's Fisherman's Wharf. So this one of them is more readily available. But then we have Laughing Sam. Now, Laughing Sam was the first automaton produced following the massive success of Laughing Sal. Created to be Sal's husband, fewer models of him were produced compared to his female counterpart, though there have been claims that Laughing Sam was showcased at the Kennywood Amusement Park near Pittsburgh and made an appearance at the beginning of the 1982 short movie Arcade Attack, Silver Ball Heroes vs. Video Invaders. The only two confirmed locations of which Sam was displayed were at the Laugh in the Dark exhibits as well as in Cleveland's Euclid Park, where he was unfortunately damaged during a fire. There are also currently two theories regarding Sam's audio track. According to the 1994 interview, John Jackson stated that the audio tracks for Laughing Sal and Laughing Sam were the exact same, with the only difference being a sentence regarding Christmas being stated by Sam every so often. However, due to Jackson's age at the time, it is hard to say whether or not his memories of the automaton are accurate. Bill Luca, the owner of the official Laugh in the Dark website, claims that the audio found in 1970s Laugh-N-Head Crazy Vet line of toys was sourced from a sped-up portion of the Old King Cole record track for Sam. However, Dan Kaufman of BB Productions, which produced the Laugh-N-Head, stated that the audio was provided by Ozen, a popular soundbox company in the 1970s. Due to a missing connection between Old King Cole or Philadelphia Toboggan Company and Ozen, however, this cannot be fully confirmed. It is also believed that the audio from Sam may have been provided by Mesmer and Damon, a New York City-based amusement park renowned for their mechanical displays. We also have, as previously mentioned, Blackie the Barker, also known as Blackie the Sideshow Barker and Joe Barker, was the third most popular automaton in the Philadelphia Toboggan Company. I'm going to call them PTC from now on. That's getting old to say. But in PTC's lineup, a model of Blackie the Barker used to sit with Sal and Sam at the entrance to the Laugh in the Dark ride at the Pike, but has since deteriorated. Not much is known about the model, and locations for the automaton besides the Pike are virtually unknown. Next up, we have Laughing Luke and Giggling Gertie. These two are two sitting automatons produced and distributed by PTC that were more often than not sold together as a pair. According to newspaper advertisements that PTC distributed, the automatons came with 20 records with a sale. It is currently unknown as to whether or not any of these records were shared with other models, and audio of any of the recordings has yet to surface. And finally, of the former PTC automatons, we have Laughing Farmer. Laughing Farmer is an extremely obscure model of the automatons sold and produced by PTC. Online, there is only one image proving its existence, and it is currently unknown as to where any models of the automatons would have resided. I, for one, love animatronics and automatons and all that. I've never found them creepy. I know, I was like the one kid who, looking back, isn't skeeved out by the Chuck E. Cheese band. In fact, I would love to have also been able to go to Showbiz Pizza and see the Rock of Fire explosion. When we think of animatronics, we think either of like Disney Imagineering as well as, a lot of the pizza joints of the 80s and 90s. But automatons and animatronics have been a huge part of American pop culture and even world pop culture and entertainment for the better part of honestly over a century at this point. Fans of lost media and general mysterious stuff in general probably have heard of the Turk, which was supposedly an automaton that could play chess and beat chess masters. Now this one was proven to have been a hoax, but however, people were captivated by this idea that there was a mechanical man who could play chess. We've always loved the idea of singing, dancing, and entertaining mechanical beings. And I would love to see more found media from these popular, 20s to 50s animatronics found. Alright, at number 4 we have Cabbage, which is a lost build for a cancelled Nintendo 64 disk drive game from 1997. So Cabbage is actually a code name for an unfinished cancelled game that was being developed by Shigesatsu Itoi, Tsunekazu Ishihara, and Sugeru Miyamoto. It was supposed to be revealed in Space World 2000 before becoming cancelled and lost to time. Now, Cabbage was announced in 1997 as a game in which players are able to raise, feed, and carry around a creature called Cabbage. Miyamoto stated that the game was in development for 5 years, that the game would make use of the 64 disk drive internal real-time clock, a hardware feature that was unique to video game consoles, so it can keep the Cabbage creature and its virtual world running while the console is off. Furthermore, the game was going to be allowed to have Game Boy connectivity via the transfer pack, so the creature could be transferred into an interactive carrying basket game. At Space World 1997, Miyamoto describes the features such as giving it toys, swings, slides, pawns, and so forth. The team also proposed the ability to use a rewritable 64 disk drive floppy disk to swap the character's toys between different players. Miyamoto only describes the game verbally, without holding any real Cabbage graphic. In an interview with 64 Dream, Itoi states that HAL Laboratories' Satoru Iwata joined the project because the tools they're using to make Cabbage are drastically modernizing. Making those tools is the most laborious part, so it looks like that part's finishing up. Itoi also states that they were working on the project without supervision from Nintendo's president. Now in 2000, Itoi gave an update on the game, stating that Miyamoto was looking forward and wanted to get something done relatively soon. It was planned to be playable at Space World 2000, but no demo screenshots or videos were ever revealed. According to Miyamoto, though, it was because Itoi and Isuhara were occupied with other projects such as Mother 3, which is also a piece of lost media. Now, in a 2006 interview, Miyamoto stated that Cabbage news stopped for so long that he considered it being cancelled, but also revealed that gameplay concepts and elements from Cabbage were in Nintendogs and had similarities to Animal Crossing. But as to what's available, no footage or images from the game have surfaced, but photos of magazines that talked about Cabbage have been posted online. People do hope that Cabbage in some form will see the light of day one day. This one I find interesting, not so much for what the game could have been. I've never been a big Animal Crossing or Nintendogs fan, but it just showcases that Nintendo, while a lot of times people say, oh, well, Nintendo's just a console for kiddos, more so than any other console manufacturer, Nintendo has always tried to be at the forefront of advancing technologies. I mean, back in the day, they were the first console to offer kids an art tablet. I remember Super Mario Paint Studio or whatever it was called. While the Virtual Boy was a complete flop, they were trying to catch that new upcoming wave of VR technology. They were the first console to really have like a mouse peripheral. They were one of the first to really really go hardcore into motion controls, and even the disk drive, which again, you know, it didn't work out, and because it didn't really work out well, it indirectly and directly led to the creation of their biggest rival, the Sony PlayStation. Nintendo has always been trying to stay at the top of the innovation curve when it comes to ways that they can build gaming experiences for their audience. And, you know, this Cabbage, this is just one that they talked about. Who knows how many things never got mentioned because they just didn't pan out. But I definitely think it is interesting, and would be interesting to see more of like what they were developing for this game, even though ultimately it never saw fruition. It's just neat. Alright guys, we're going to get to that last final piece of lost media here in just a second, but please, if you could, spare a moment for me to, you know, beg for some money. My channel is called Chimera Miniatures because I made it as a way to sell my miniatures from my business, Chimera Miniatures. And I call it that not because I make miniatures of chimeras, but because my miniatures, at least in how they started out, were themselves, and still are, chimeras. The normal term is kit bash, which is where you take bits and pieces of various miniatures and you cobble them together into something completely unique and one of a kind. And that is what I started making when I first opened up my miniatures business years ago. The other type of miniature that has quickly become my most popular is the not safe for work HeroClix repaints, which of course I take popular HeroClix pieces and paint them to be sans clothing. Now, like I said, I made this channel as a way to do a little free advertising for my business. You know, I make an entertaining video, maybe you head on over, maybe you buy a miniature on eBay or Mercari. But the channel itself has grown more rapidly than I had anticipated. We're at over 500 subscribers, but we still need to get to 1,000 before I can start monetizing it per view via YouTube's rules. I definitely think we can make this goal, but in the meantime, you know, mini sales they've dropped off almost entirely. I will go weeks without making a single miniature sale, and honestly, if these videos are to continue, either that has to change, or more people need to start becoming channel members, joining the Patreon, or giving little tips here and there, because ultimately, as much as I love making these videos for you, they are made in order for me to increase sales and help my business. Now, it's not like I don't have other things I could be doing. I have a wife, I have a life, I have a full-time job, and I could be spending the time that I spend on these videos making even more minis, both for myself and for sale. So as we near the end of 2023, I do want to thank all of you so much for how much this channel has grown, but I need to start seeing my sales grow if I am going to keep up with the channel. On the other end, if sales increase, if membership increase, if the Patreon subscribers increase, I will have even more time to spend making content for all of you. So if you could be so kind as to click the links, check out my minis and items for sale on eBay and Mercari, consider joining the Patreon or becoming a channel member. We do have tiers as low as $3 a month. Honestly, with 500 plus subscribers, if everyone who has subscribed joined even just that lowest $3 tier, it would make my life so much easier from a financial standpoint. And of course, do your part to share the video around. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to try and get others to subscribe, because once we hit that 1,000 subscribers mark, definitely the way I do things and the emphasis I put on the miniatures will change. Again, I love making this content. I would love to make it for you for years to come, but at the end of the day, this is a business. So if you have a moment to consider supporting the channel monetarily in any way, please do so. And with that being said, let's get to today's final piece of Not Safe for Work Lost Media. At number 5, we have the 2012 Olympics promotional video, a partly found controversial Olympic advert from 2008. So this piece of lost media concerns a 3-minute promotional advert showcasing the city of London ahead of the 2012 Olympic Games that featured a short clip of a portrait of the infamous serial killer Myra Hindley. The video was made by London's tourism board, Visit London, and showed many different aspects of London culture. So a bit of background as to why this is controversial. Myra Hindley was one of the most notorious serial killers in the UK. Between 1963 and 1965, she and her boyfriend Ian Brady murdered 4 children and buried their bodies on the Saddleworth Moor. After they were both arrested, Myra's mugshot was printed in newspapers, where the image would become synonymous with the evilness in the eyes of the British public. The portrait shown in the video is called Myra from 1995 and was created by artist Marcus Harvey, who remade the murderer's famous mugshot using children's handprints. It was first shown at the Sensation exhibit in 1997 at London's Royal Academy of Art. Many of the artworks in the exhibition were considered controversial, but Myra caused the most outrage among the public. On the opening day of the exhibition, there was a protest outside the Academy from a group Mothers Against Murders and Aggression, and inside the exhibit, the portrait was vandalized twice. So needless to say, not a popular figure, not a popular piece of art. Now, in 2008, a party was held in Beijing at the London House celebrating the handover of the next Olympic Games to London for 2012. At the party, a promotional video made by Visit London played on a big screen for the guests. Attending this party was UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown, London Mayor Boris Johnson, and many other important people. The video showcased many different aspects of London's culture. However, what caught people's attention was the brief second the portrait of Myra Hindley was shown on screen. After the party was over, a spokesperson for Downing Street said, "The use of this image is in extremely poor taste and it should not have been used to promote London." Now, as to its availability, Visit London has said that the video is not for general public use and has been used many times over the last few years to show to the tourism trade. They have also said, however, if any offense has been caused, we will withdraw it from use with immediate effect. Contrary to the first statement from Visit London, the video was said to have been on their website in the past. Part of the promo can be seen playing in the background of an interview by CCTV, China Central Television, where the portrait is shown for a brief second. Now, I am 100% in favor of there being just free speech for everybody. If you want to make a portrait of a famous child unaliver and make that out of a kind of a collage of children's handprints, more power to you. I just don't think it was smart for London's tourism board to feature it in a video that they supposedly used as a way to pitch visiting London to various tourism agencies. I mean, London has a vibrant art scene. Why, of all the pieces you could showcase, would it be this one? I'm not saying they shouldn't be allowed to use it, I'm just saying it was kind of a dumb move. Like, I guarantee these projects, these videos, this Visit London promo video, I'm sure it had a team working on it, and they had to run ideas by their superiors. It wasn't just one guy who was like, yeah, I'm going to clip a second of this portrait in. So how, at any point during the creation of this video, was there not one person that went, maybe not that painting? So while yes, this is a piece of lost media, and honestly kind of for good reason, it's not available to the public, it is in poor taste, I just want to know why London's tourism board, Visit London, ever thought it was a good idea to put this in one of their videos. Like, what did they think was going to happen? That's the lost media I want to see. I want to see the minutes of their meetings where they were talking about putting this in the video and why nobody thought that was a bad idea. That's what I want to see. And that's our video, guys. I want to thank you all so much for being with me for these 28 episodes of lesser known lost media, which is honestly amazing. This is the longest running series on my channel. It has the most videos. It gets the most views. This is clearly the most popular thing I've ever put out on my channel, and I want to thank you all for being a part of that. And that being said, we're 28 episodes in, and there is still tons of lost media left to cover. I just hope my channel will be around to cover it all for you. And of course, the best way to make sure that it indeed stays around to bring this content to you is to like, comment, subscribe, share the video with your friends, become a channel member, leave a tip, join the Patreon, or head on over to eBay and Mercari and purchase a mini. Links to all of this are in the description. Let's try to get this video 1,000 views. Let's try to get it that still elusive 100 likes in the first week. If you are enjoying this video, please click the like button. Please get this video to 100 likes in its first 7 days. And of course, everybody, be sure to show up to the next video. Videos are released every Wednesday and Saturday. And until then, I'm Mr. Sean, this is Chimera Miniatures, and I sincerely hope that you all alpha great day and an even beta tomorrow. Bye-bye!